J.
Who?
I am the swarm. Armies will be shattered. Worlds will burn.
All hail Jay! All hail Jay!
Carol Danvers, prodigal child of the Milky Way.
Nick Fury, my favorite one-eyed man of intrigue.
A few moments later.
Black girl magic! Heroes.
You fucking.
Many unbearable hours later.
Well, you all knew that this was coming. Well, here it is. It's been a while, but it's finally come. The Marvels, yes. The film we've all been highly anticipating. I'm sure of it. Well, it's been a long time since we've seen the original Captain Marvel film, and a few things have changed since then. But I know the question that you're all asking, because I know that you haven't watched the film. So, as someone who has sacrificed his dignity to watch this film just to give you his opinion on it, is it any good?
No.
Now, of course, this is something that we've all foreseen. First of all, none of us really liked the character of Captain Marvel in the MCU in the first place, but they decided to go along with it anyway because I guess they were contractually obligated to. That's besides the point, though. We all knew this was coming. By the time of Phase 4, people have really lost faith in the MCU, and it's pretty obvious to see why. The writing, and it's become god-awful. The writing is shit, the characters are shit, the visual effects are shit. I could go on and on about all the issues with Phase 4, but at this time, they're so widely known to the public that it's really be a waste of breath to go over all of them. That's besides the point. The Marvels is the only glimmer of hope. For the MCU, anyway. For the audience, we all saw this dirtbag like coming from a mile away. None of us really had much faith in it. We all knew it was going to be horrible. Now it's time to look over the actual movie, now that it's finally released, and see the damage. Now, after going over all that... Now, the very first signs of trouble in this film, believe it or not, as soon as the very first trailer, which revealed the gimmick, that the three protagonists, yes, there's three now, not just Captain Marvel, but now joined by Monica Rambeau and Ms. Marvel, would occasionally switch places whenever they would use their powers at the same time. And in the trailer, Miss Marvel would be the most annoying of the trio, screaming the entire trailer. And things got even worse by the time of the last trailer, with clear, deceptive advertising, when they had brought back Captain America and Iron Man from the bits of clips from Endgame, trying to remind you of how good the MCU used to be before Phase 4.
I wish that
Phase 4
was never born.
But, of course, that didn't work, and this was just a sign of begging from the corporate overlords back at the MCU, realizing that they were drowning at the scenes of this movie. So they tried to get you to remember something that used to be good, so that you might be brainwashed into coming back to see this piece of crap. But that wasn't the only thing. Even more deceptive advertising when they tried to make it seem like the new main villain, I don't really remember her name, but they tried to make her seem like she was some kind of successor to Thanos, when in reality, her motivations and, well, her big plan has nothing to do with Thanos at all. She comes across as more of a discount Ronan the Accuser, and if you've seen the first Guardians of the Galaxy, Ronan the Accuser wasn't even that, you know, it didn't really have that much going on as a villain. But this was all happening before the actual movie. Now it's time to talk about the actual movie, unfortunately.
Black girl magic!
As this movie, picks up, if you haven't seen Ms. Marvel or WandaVision, you might be a bit set back with this film. Yes, this film ties into 2 Marvel shows that nobody watched. Well, to the show's credit, WandaVision was alright in the beginning, but you had to stick around to the very end to find out that Monica actually gets powers by the end of that show. As for Miss Marvel, nobody really watched that show. But that's besides the point. I didn't watch Miss Marvel, but I did watch WandaVision, so I was a little caught up on the events that happen in this show. It doesn't matter, because they're not that impactful to the context of this show. But, well, the movie starts with Monica Rambeau using her brand new powers that make no goddamn sense. I'll get into that later. To figure out something in space, I don't really know. I'm sorry, folks. I did watch the movie, but I don't really remember what the hell they were even doing here. It was just so lackluster and boring. It was only an hour and probably 30-something minutes, but it just dragged on and on. It actually felt longer than that. That's besides the point. When Ms. Marvel is also crusading the galaxy, yes, she comes across this little weird glowing wall thing in space that she touches at the same time as Monica. And because Ms. Marvel also has to get roped into this, her bangle lights up at the same time that this happens, and she gets caught up in the power switchy thingy. They all switch places, and Monica ends up in the spot of Captain Marvel. Captain Marvel ends up in the spot of Marvel, and Miss Marvel ends up in the spot of Monica. Yes, she still screams in that scene, and she still screams in later scenes, but believe it or not, Miss Marvel wasn't as annoying in this film as I expected her to be from the trailer. A little bit of false advertising. They really did this girl dirty. As a matter of fact, I can't believe I'm saying this, but Ms. Marvel was actually one of the better things of the film. Now, does that make her a great character?
No.
I will say another thing. While Captain Marvel is trying a little bit harder in this film, her acting just really wasn't doing it for me. Still felt really below the bar. And Monica wasn't doing too much better, if I'm being honest with myself.
Is that like a personal attack or something?
How long will you play Captain Marvel for?
I don't know. Does anyone want me to do it again?
Don't be so modest.
I don't know. I really don't know. I don't have the answer to that.
No.
Anyways, they get into some kind of heated battle. Anyways, after the fight, which they all did exceedingly well at time, with no struggle at all, even Miss Marvel. Monica Rambeau goes into detail explaining their powers and how they are connected, all being light-based powers. And, well, they, don't explain it the best. To be fair, they try to simplify, going into detail of, each of their abilities, and for the most part, Captain Marvel and Ms. Marvel's powers are pretty understandable. But Monica explains and elaborates her powers are being able to see light.
I can see it. I can see it. I can see it.
Black girl magic!
if you've seen this film, or if you're just sitting here watching me elaborating on this film, that is a load of horseradish. You don't even need me to tell you. You could just get up and see the trailer for free to know that that makes absolutely no sense. Being able to see light has no connection to being able to fly or phase through objects. Those are two completely different powers. And yet she yada-yadas it all away by saying that she can see light, and somehow that translates her into doing a whole bunch of other things in this film that honestly just make me feel like her powers are pretty much whatever they need to be. Speaking of which, remember how I just said that they all defeated those enemies at the beginning of the movie after they started switching powers with no problem at all? Well, now that Captain Marvel is being a very rude person, she uses her powers and it makes Ms. Marvel start to fall from the sky because she swapped into her place. Oh no! Now, Monica Rambeau has no choice but to fly up and save her. But all of a sudden now, she has issues using her powers even though she didn't a few minutes ago. And now she's struggling to fly up and save this girl for the tension that this scene didn't really need to have, because the tension is completely fabricated. But anyways, it doesn't matter. Despite that, she is able to save Miss Marvel. But then Captain Marvel uses her powers again, and so Monica and Miss Marvel switch in her place on a spaceship where Captain Marvel was somehow captured. Anyways, then we meet the main antagonist of the film, a Rule 63 version of Ronan the Accuser, somehow with less personality, if you could believe that. And so they get into a whole tussle and they find out that she has one of the bangles. Oh no!
Life could be worse. No, not really. This is the worst.
This is the worst.
This is the worst.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Anyway.
And if you're wondering what the hell I'm talking about, well, in the MCU version of Miss Marvel, she, I believe, got her powers from this bangle that her grandmother sent her in the mail. So, it turns out that this Rule 63 version of Ronan the Accuser has the other bangle. Oh my god! Oh. Because this Miss Ronan sees Captain Marvel on her ship, she assumes that the Skrulls have sent her to attack, and they've gone behind her back like some green fucking the snakes they are. So she attacks them purely off of assumption and tries to destroy their current home. Oh my god. So a bunch of chaos ensues, and to the movie's credit, Ms. Marvel actually does do a bit of hero work in here. She tries to save a couple of people, but because Captain Marvel's a complete asshole, she stops her in the middle of doing it by switching places with her and using her powers on purpose. So then all of these Skrulls are now homeless again, and so Captain Marvel calls in Valkyrie from the Thor movies. Yes, you remember Valkyrie? I mean, I don't really know how the hell these two became such close friends. I mean, they never interacted between really any of these films, unless you count the whole female assembly march back in Endgame. But come on now. Does that really count? I don't think so. But I don't know, maybe there was a movie or something that we just didn't miss in the crosshairs or something. I don't really care. This whole relationship came up out of nowhere, but it was an excuse to get the Skrulls out of the movie and have them have a safe place to live. Then, it is revealed, dun dun dun, that Captain Marvel is the reason why these villains are attacking everywhere and trying to steal their resources, because she destroyed the artificial intelligence on their planet. And somehow that makes the sun die on their planet or something like that. I don't know exactly how that correlates, but whatever. Point is, she doomed them, and that's why they call her the Annihilator, which is honestly way much more fitting for Captain Marvel because she is a huge
Fucking bitch! Calling her out! Call her out!
Oh, and it's also revealed that the reason why Monica is pissed at Captain Marvel is because, well, apparently, didn't keep the promise that she gave to her when she was a kid that she would be right back. Yeah, remember that first movie when she said, oh yeah, she'd be right back? Well, apparently she's never seen her. She's never come to see her since then. Even when she came briefly to apparently visit her mother off screen years later. Well, what can I say? She still didn't see the goddamn child. For whatever reason, I don't know. So, much as I don't like Captain Marvel, I have very mixed feelings about this whole situation. I mean, on one end, Monica is acting very childish for being mad at Captain Marvel for not keeping a promise that she held to her when she was a kid. But on the other end, Captain Marvel is not exactly clean in this either, because yes, why didn't she visit her? I mean, she's had plenty of years to do so. She hasn't done it in all these years. Well, eventually it is revealed that the reason why she didn't do this is because she didn't want to look bad in front of her, because becoming the Annihilator and practically killing off somebody else's planet might have made her look really bad, and she didn't want on her conscience when she went to visit the child, because she didn't want the child to see her in a bad light. Boo-hoo!
Oh, boo-hoo! Let me play a sad song for you on the world's smallest violin. This is serious. I know.
But, well, I mean, she could have just, I don't know, lied or just not spoken about it. I mean, how the hell would this kid even know about something that's happening in space? But that's beside the point. We're not exactly dealing with Martin Scorsese writing in this movie, are we? And so we get a little montage of Monica, Ms. Marvel, and Captain Marvel learning how to control their switching abilities and learn how to fight with it. But frankly, I don't really care because I'm not super invested in these characters. But you know what? I'll give it a point for the fact that they included that in the first place. But let's continue on. So, wait a minute. Oh God. Okay, so next, it's on my notes here. They visit a musical planet. Yes, yes. You didn't think it was gonna get that bad, did you, folks? Oh yes, but they had to turn this movie into a musical midway, and they don't even commit to it. But yes, the next planet that they talk to, the next planet that they interact with, well, they only understand you when you sing to them, and so they only talk to you by singing, and so it's very annoying and cringe. And next we have a scene where a bunch of Goose's cat babies. You remember the cat from the first film that had a tentacle shit in its mouth? Well, she had a bunch of babies, and then they used the babies to swallow up all the people on the ship. Who did anybody proofread this script? Frankly, when I first saw this scene, I barely understood what the hell was going on. Part of me was wondering if they were just straight up killing all the members of the ship. Of Nick Fury's ship, he was killing all of his own members with the cats. But then it comes to mind that I guess they only did that to make enough space for them on the escape pods. Which then I ask, why didn't they have enough escape pods for the humans to fit in? Very poorly written film. I don't even know what to say. Also, how do these cats not just, I don't know, consume these people? It's a poorly written film. Oh my God. Anyways, as Nick Fury is flying through space, not gonna lie, I did find this scene genuinely funny when Nick Fury was in the escape pod with Ms. Marvel's family. Anyways, our heroes fight evil female Ronan the Accuser and boy, this was a film that happened. So, she actually does get both of the bangles. And like Thanos getting all these stones for the Infinity Gauntlet, he decides to put them together and use them against her enemies. And I'm not gonna lie, when I saw her get the bangles, I was filled with excitement. Because I thought that she could finally kill these three protagonists. But then I realized I'm not watching Infinity War, and the villain is obviously gonna lose somehow. And she did, but lost in the most stupid way possible. Apparently, she couldn't even handle the powers of the bangles, and when she used both of them combined, she blew herself up. Yes. So, basically, if the heroes just let this woman get both of the bangles, the movie would have been over much earlier. But then, the film gets even more derivative as they rip off the plot from Spider-Man No Way Home. And now, because she blew up with the bangles, she's created a rift in the multiverse. Yes, because we still gotta cram that plot in there somehow, because the multiverse is somehow still relevant to this film, even though it had no impact on the film the entire time. But now it's there. Anyways, yes, there's a rift in space-time, and it's I don't really know what the stakes are here, but it's just bad to have it open. So now, our three heroes must come together to stop it, and so they do. Apparently, Monica Rambeau can absorb all their powers, which they never... Okay. Okay, alright, yes. So apparently, she can also absorb their light energy, and so she does, and then she becomes super duper ultra fucking powerful. Goddamn! And she goes into the space-time rift, and she closes it. Oh, by the way, Miss Marvel powers up by using both of the bangles. Yes, that's right. She didn't blow up using the power of both the bangles, but somehow the main villain did. Even though she's a child. This is... Why did I watch this film? Anywho, yes, so Monica Rambeau closes the rift. On the other side, leaving her inside the other universe, making a noble sacrifice? I don't know why she couldn't just do it on the other side and still close it, but fine. Whatever. I guess it's kind of noble, albeit very silly thing to do. But this is where we are. It's a very emotional scene. For Captain Marvel, anyway. Anyways, oh boy! Ms. Marvel eventually is, sent back home. But after that, we have to deal with the most insanely ridiculous scene I've ever seen between these two movies. And you know what, honestly, just all of Captain Marvel's appearances, entirely including Endgame, where she rams herself into a dead sun, and she okay.
Wow, I need a minute to think about this.
So, what happens here is Captain Marvel was given a suggestion by Monica Rambeau earlier when they were fighting Miss Ronin, and she suggested that she has the power to reignite their dying sun by ramming into it, and thus alleviating the issues Miss Ronin's planet has, albeit it still doesn't really make much sense. But basically she just says to just punch the sun, reignite it, and that's exactly what she does, and it works. And how Captain Marvel managed to struggle at all in this movie, I have no idea. But this is not exactly the best written film. Alright, finally the movie it almost ends. Right at the ending point, we get a little teaser for Young Avengers. Ooh, and, Ms. Marvel introduces herself to Kate Bishop. It's cringe!
Did you think you were the only kid superhero in the world? I'm 23. Oh, I know. I've been reading up on you. What do you want? I'm putting together a team. I know what you wanted. Please?
Oh, and there's an after-credits scene that shows the alternate universe that Monica Rambeau is in, and apparently it's the X-Men one, because we get to see Beast. The end, yes. That was a movie that existed. Oh boy, how the mighty have fallen. I must say, this is... Oof, this was something. This was a film that existed, that Marvel really shat out.
Black girl magic!
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it. I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul.
It's like they're not even really trying anymore. It's ironic, because you'd think that this is the time for them to try the most, and to be fair, they kind of did, with the trailers, trying to mesh them with Infinity War and Endgame clips to really get the nostalgia going for old audiences. Unfortunately, they've already damaged their brand so badly that it didn't work. As a matter of fact, people barely showed up for this film. And why, I just can't really bring myself to blame them, because honestly, this film was...
That is one big pile of shit.
I don't know if I'm going to be reviewing any more Marvel shenanigans. At least anything from the MCU up to this point. Things have just gotten so badly, don't have the energy to really care that much anymore. It was really hard to admit it to myself, but the truth is that the apathy is starting to set in. As a matter of fact, even making this review was hard to do, which is insane, because if I'm being honest with everyone, I used to love these Marvel films. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that they were perfect. They had a lot of issues from the very beginning. However, with that being said, there was a lot to like about them. And as I mentioned before, I love character-driven stories. That's what really made these movies shine. But then we had to deal with a bunch of ensuing character assassinations following Phase 4. And well, here we are. And I'm just not sure how many people will care, even if there is, somehow, a third Marvel's movie. Well, that's all I got for today, folks. But remember, to come back for more, to see what is in store.